Good morning, dear students. Today we are to take up third applications of Biot and Savart's law. What is third application? We are to find out magnetic field intensity due to a circular current carrying loop at any point on its axis passing through its center and perpendicular to its plane at a distance x from the center of the loop. This is the loop carrying steady current I. This is the axis of the loop passing through center perpendicular to its plane, and this is the point P at a distance x from center of the loop, where you are to find out magnetic field intensity. Now we are to frame first physical situation. So in the first step we develop physical situation. Let there be a circular loop of radius A carrying steady current I in anti-clockwise direction as shown in diagram. Let P be any point on the axis of loop passing through its center perpendicular to its plane at a distance x from the center of the loop. Now in the second step we are to apply Biot and Savart's law to express magnetic field intensity at P. Now consider small current element dl of the loop near point Q such that PQ is equal to R and R is equal to root of A square plus X square. Let us mark it as equation 1. Now small field due to this current element dl, say dB, is equal to mu 0 over 4 pi I dl vector cross product with r cap divided by r mod square. Mark it as equation 2. Now this is vectorial expression of Biot and Savart's law. This is also it is the expression for magnetic field at P due to small current element dl of the loop. Now we have to find out its magnitude and direction. Now magnitude of magnetic field. Now from equation 2 we have mod dB is equal to mu 0 over 4 pi I mod dl mod r cap sin theta divided by r mod square. So many times we have written the value of cross product. The same way we have written mod dl mod r cap sin theta. Now since r cap mod r cap is equal to 1 and theta is equal to 90 degree, this angle with r and circumference is 90 degree. So therefore sin 90 is also equal to 1. So we write this expression, substituting this value in above expression, we get mod dB equal to mu 0 over 4 pi I mod dl divided by r mod square. Mark this as equation 3. Now in the fourth step we take up direction of magnetic field. Now direction is inclined at an angle alpha with the axis of loop directed outward. Is directed outward, dot or directed outward. So dB is inclined at an angle alpha with the axis of the loop and is directed outward. Now this angle is alpha, this angle is also alpha. So because angle between two lines is equal to angle between their perpendiculars. So this is axis is perpendicular to this and r is perpendicular to radius. So this angle is equal to this angle. So that's why it has been also marked as alpha. Now we have to take up components of this magnetic field. Now this magnetic field, being a vector quantity, can be resolved into two components, a parallel component and perpendicular component. Now dB parallel is equal to dB cos alpha. dB parallel is equal to dB cos alpha along axis of loop, and dB perpendicular is equal to dB sin alpha, dB sin alpha perpendicular to axis of loop. So these are the two components. So vector dB can be resolved into two components, parallel component and perpendicular component. So parallel component is dB cos alpha along axis of loop, and perpendicular component is dB sin alpha perpendicular to axis of loop. Now we have to proceed for the magnetic field due to whole loop. Now we go for magnetic field due to whole loop. For the whole loop, perpendicular components dB perpendicular equal to dB sin alpha add up to 0. That is, dB perpendicular integration dB perpendicular 0 to 2 pi a is equal to 0, because loop is placed symmetrically about its axis and every current element has its equal and opposite element, which cancel out in pairs. Now due to this element there will be field here, this field due to this element, this field dB, and its component, perpendicular component opposite to this, and its parallel component is along axis of the loop. Now these components cancel out each other for the whole loop, since loop is symmetrically placed about axis, and every component, perpendicular component, has its equal and opposite perpendicular component. Now we come to parallel components. Now consider parallel components of the loop. Since all parallel components dB parallel equal to dB cos alpha point along axis of the loop, therefore they add up and can be obtained by integrating dB parallel equal to dB cos alpha for the whole loop, that is from 0 to 2 pi a. Now let us integrate. Integration dB parallel is equal to dB cos alpha integration dB cos alpha from 0 to 2 pi a. So let us mark it as equation number 4. Now integration dB parallel is equal to B parallel. Now B parallel is equal to 0 to 2 pi a. We substitute the value of dB as mu 0 over 4 pi I by r square into dl, and we substitute the value of cos alpha as a by r, cos alpha a by r, and on simplification we get mu 0 over 4 pi I by r cube a into integration dl 0 to 2 pi a, and it is equal to mu 0 over 4 pi I a by r cube L, integration dl is L, so limits 0 to 2 pi a. So applying limits, we evaluate limits. So mu 0 over 4 pi I by r cube a as it is into upper limit 2 pi a minus lower limit 0, and it is equal to mu 0 by 2 I a square by r cube. So magnetic field at point P at a distance x is given by the expression B parallel is equal to mu 0 by 2 I by r cube into a square, and direction is along the axis of the loop given by right hand grip rule, axis of the loop. Now since B parallel is equal to mu 0 by 2 I by r cube into a square, let us mark it as equation 5. Now substituting the value of r equal to under root a square plus x square from equation 1, we get b parallel is equal to mu 0 by 2 I a square divided by root of a square plus x square whole cube. We substitute the value of r here, and direction of magnetic field is along axis of the loop. Now we come to discussion. Now in discussion we take up case by case. Now case 1, when x is equal to 0, means point P becomes at the center. That P lies at center when x becomes 0. Therefore, substituting x equal to 0, we get b parallel equal to mu 0 by 2 I by a. It is the same expression as we discussed in application number 1. Now case 2, when x approaches infinity, we substitute x as infinity, so it is in inverse proportion, therefore b will become 0. That is, p lies at infinity, then b will become equal to 0. So at infinity, magnetic field reduces to 0 value. Now case 3, when x is very, very large as compared to a, that is, x is very, very large as compared to a, then a can be neglected. In denominator, we can neglect a. In numerator, we cannot neglect a. In denominator, we neglect a. After neglecting a, we evaluate this expression. It comes out to be like this. B parallel is equal to mu 0 by 2 into I into a square by x cube. Let us mark it as equation number 7. Now we are to see the variation of magnetic field with distance from center of the loop. So let us see. Now look at equation number 7. B parallel equal to mu 0 by 2 I divided by x cube into a square. It means field is inversely proportional to distance cube. And if we plot variation of magnetic field with distance from center, it comes out to be like this. This center point. At the center, field is maximum and it reduces with distance. It reduces with distance. It reduces with distance because magnetic field is inversely proportional to cube of distance when x is very, very large. So this is the graph between distance and magnetic field. So magnetic field varies with distance as shown in diagram. Now it is maximum at the center. It is maximum at the center. When x is 0, then field is equal to b, which is equal to mu 0 by 2 I by a, and it is maximum at the center and reduced with the distance as x cube. Now next point that we are to discuss is magnetic lines of force. So how will be the magnetic lines of force? Consider this loop in horizontal direction like this, and current is flowing like this, and using right hand grip rule you can mark the direction of magnetic lines of force. So this central line of force, then it goes like this, it comes like this comes like this, and this comes like this, and this comes like this. So this is the diagram for magnetic lines of force. Now next 10th point that we are to discuss is the most important, the assignment, questions of assignment. You have to apply this knowledge gained in this article or in this topic to solve some problems. So go to the assignment. Now questions of assignment 2. Now question number 10 of assignment 2. Two coaxial circular loops L1 and L2 of radii 3 cm and 4 cm are placed as shown. This is L1, radius 3 cm. This is L2, radius 4 cm. What should be the magnitude and direction of current in the loop L2? Loop L2. So that net magnetic field at point O is 0. At point O is 0. Point O is 4 cm from the center of this loop and 3 cm from the center of this loop. The current in loop L1 is I1 and flowing in this direction, and you have to find out magnitude of current I2 in loop L2. Also you have to tell the direction of the current flow. Your answer magnitude should be I2 should be equal to 9/16 I1 ampere, and direction you have to find out. Now question number 11. Two circular current carrying loops L1 and L2 of same radius carries same current as shown. Carries same current I as shown. Calculate magnetic field at point P. Calculate magnetic field at point P on the axis of loops. This is the axis of this loop and this is the axis of this loop. At a distance of 1 meter from their centers. So this distance is 1 meter. This distance is 1 meter. Here you have to find out the magnetic field due to the both loops. So this is all about this topic. Magnetic field intensity due to a circular current carrying loop at any point on axis of the loop. So if you have gained proper knowledge of this article, then you should be able to solve these two questions perfectly. Wish you good luck. Thank you.